This video is sponsored by Planoly. Have you ever been told to niche down as a content creator? Because I'm nearly 100% sure that you've probably heard someone mention it to you, or you've often heard that old trope of find a niche and stick to it. I know that I personally have been told to niche down in the past, even as a photographer and as a content creator, and I've even parroted this in some of my videos and spoken about why you should niche down. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why that's no longer the case, and maybe it never was the case. Maybe it's just a big learning curve that a lot of content creators are now going through, and the main point of this video is that you don't need to choose a single niche, and we're going to talk about why. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Kaylee. I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia, but I'm also a content creator, and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things content creation, business, social media, and freelancing. Speaking of niches, my favorite way to plan content across social media for all of my niches happens to be utilizing today's video sponsor, Planoly. Planoly is an online social media planning platform which allows you to save time and be consistent. It can be harder to juggle several niches at once as a content creator, but Planoly makes this easy by giving you the option to plan and schedule your content across accounts to platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and Pinterest. This way you can focus on the really important stuff like being creative. Whether you need help managing your hashtags, finding new trends, or just want an easier way to view all of your content in one single place, Planoly has got you covered. Make 2024 your most organized and consistent year yet. For 30% off all yearly plans, simply enter the code Kaylee30 and click the link in the description box to learn more. Now back to the video. So for a bit of background before we get further into this video, I currently have a few different niches that I'm doing content creation for. So there's my main YouTube channel, which is for my Kaylee June photography brand, and that is basically all Photoshop and photography tutorials. I've had that channel going for over 10 years now, and I also have an Instagram to go along with that and an education website too. And like I mentioned before, I started this channel a few years ago, which is the Kaylee June creative brand, which is really just talking about all things business and freelancing because that's the kind of stuff I love to talk about, and I felt I couldn't talk about it on my main channel. And then I also have a travel YouTube channel that I've been running with my partner since 2017, and I also have a travel Instagram that goes along with that, which I had to restart going back in late 2022 because my previous one got hacked. Although I'd never really developed that particular Instagram very well, it's only within the last couple of years that I've now started to take that a lot more seriously. So from those three main niches, you can see that I do have quite a few things going on, and I'm not currently just sticking to one niche. And that's because as a creative, I've always had so many interests. And I think in the last few years, I've really wanted to fulfill some of my creative pursuits that I've always kind of wondered about in the back of my head. So for such a long time, I only did photography, and I only did things relating to beauty and fashion photography, especially with content creation, because I felt that I just had to do that one thing. I had to have that one niche and be good at it and just stick to it. And that was all well and good until it got to nearly 15 years of me doing the same sort of thing, of me doing photography and then starting my YouTube channel and doing the same kind of content over and over again. I found that I was starting to be backed into a corner with it, and I also started to get a little bit bored with it. I think because I just needed a new challenge after around 15 years of doing beauty and fashion photography, I wanted to start something new. And like I said, I always had several interests at heart. I had photography, I had fashion and beauty, I had travel, and even the outdoors and business. So really there was like a very big mix of things that I had a lot of interest in, and I just felt that that really wasn't coming out in my singular content creation for my photography. I especially always wondered about and wanted to pursue travel and really doing a lot more travel photography, travel content creation. I just really didn't know how to get started with it, and I was really struggling to find the balance with doing so much for my main photography business with beauty and fashion. I found it hard to integrate, and then I was also advised against combining it all or doing another Instagram account because I just wasn't going to be able to keep up with it. But I really did get to the point with fashion and beauty where it wasn't really the career that I expected it to be. I guess in a lot of ways, I had so many goals for that particular career path, and then a lot of my values and my priorities changed as I moved into my 30s, and somehow that particular career path just didn't feel like the only way for me anymore. I really felt the need to branch out and to get some of my creativity back because I felt that I was really lacking that. I think I'd been doing the same thing for so long that I was just finding it kind of boring, and I was finding it really hard to get in a creative mindset. I always found, even with my photography business in particular, I needed different things going on. So just doing photo shoots, I think for 15 years alone and retouching probably would have drove me crazy. That's why I really needed to have my YouTube channel and courses and other things that I was working on, so I wasn't necessarily doing the same thing every day. So curiosity is a funny thing, and in the last few years, as I mentioned, I really started to branch out and started actually just doing some new things to see what stuck. And funnily enough, overall, my creativity really returned. And then I was really enthusiastic about doing these new things. I felt like I was almost starting again. So I had so much to learn about travel photography and video and content creation in general. And even with this channel and doing different videos for YouTube, I felt like it was also new. So it was just a lot more creative to me. It was a lot more fulfilling, and I was a lot more excited to do them. So that's essentially why I started this channel and why I started my Kaylee Journeys account on Instagram, because I wanted to pursue these new things. Having said that, I did this in a way where I really did start small, and by just having one extra YouTube channel and one Instagram, it really meant that I wasn't covering too many bases on social media or overcommitting myself to doing too much posting for either one of them. I knew that I had to have my other business still running and still doing content creation for my Kaylee June photography channel, but I wanted to explore these other avenues. So I was just doing enough posting on these other channels so I could really get started and start exploring with that a bit more. And essentially the point of this video overall is to not put all of your eggs in one basket if you don't want to. And there really are a few reasons why you may not want to niche down, and I'm going to go through some of them now. So A, you might actually get bored of your chosen niche very quickly, and you might start to feel very unfulfilled creatively. You also might start to feel backed into a corner the more you grow that chosen niche, because you'll find that people start watching you for that niche and for that niche only. So if you do want to explore and do different things, you're really going to have to branch out to do that and start again in a sense. So I always think it's nice to have a couple of things going at one point or at one time, just finding the right balance with that. Then B is actually a reason that I think many people don't actually think of, and it's that your chosen niche may not actually be as lucrative as you'd hoped it to be. So for example, if you're wanting to be a full-time content creator and you want to live off the chosen niche that you've selected, it may be a rare case that you find that it's not lucrative enough. As many content creators will tell you, different niches will do much better monetary-wise than others. So it's always good to have a couple of different niches selected or a couple of different avenues that you're going down, so you can kind of spread the income across those avenues and really develop them separate from one another. And you'll find that if one avenue is not doing as well monetary wise, then maybe the other two or other one will do really well. So it's kind of just another thing to think about if you're wanting to be a full-time content creator. And then C, a host of different things can happen to your accounts. As I mentioned, one of my accounts did get hacked a couple of years ago. So I think it actually helps to have several different things going on to make sure that if the worst happens and you do get hacked or security is compromised on one of these platforms, you've still got a couple of niches that you've got your toes into, and it may not be the worst thing that happens in the world if something does go down. That's not the most important point, but I do feel like the other 2 points I spoke about are really important, and I think it's something to definitely consider if you're wanting to niche down. Maybe don't niche down too hard. I know what it's like to have a lot of interests and really not know where to start with them and which niche to choose, and sometimes you may not actually have to choose. Sometimes it is good to have a couple of different niches or interests that you want to pursue. You may even have more satisfaction overall knowing that you're pursuing these different interests, because I know I certainly do. But the really main thing to take away from this video is, if you're going to do this, keep it simple and really start small, maybe only having one social media account for each interest that you want to pursue to start off with. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this video and this topic. Do you have several niches that you're working on at the moment, or several interests interests that you want to pursue, definitely feel free to let me know in the comments section below because I'd love to get a conversation started about this, and I really love talking about this topic. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, make sure you do because I'll be posting a lot more videos like this one in future. But thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.